A Ballarat Presbyterian minister has cancelled a young couple's wedding after the bride-to-be declared her support for same-sex marriage on Facebook. Stephen North told the couple he could not officiate their marriage because he didn't want to appear to support their views. Justine Conway reports.
The sign says, "All welcome." But after declaring her support for marriage equality, a parishioner at Ebenezer St John's Presbyterian Church has been left out in the cold.
I would have thought we had moved beyond that sort of prejudice.
The 26-year-old bride-to-be and her would-be groom had planned to wed at the Ballarat church this coming November. Minister Stephen North had agreed to perform the ceremony. That was until he saw this post on the young woman's Facebook page supporting same-sex marriage. It read, "I know it's something not everyone will agree on, and that's fine, but this is what I stand for, and frankly, it doesn't affect my relationship one bit." Days later, the couple was told they were no longer welcome at the church. In a letter addressed to them, Minister North wrote, "You must surely appreciate that your commitment to same-sex marriage directly opposes the teachings of Christ Jesus and the scriptural position practiced by the Presbyterian Church of Australia and by me. By continuing to officiate, it would appear that I support your views on same-sex marriage or that I am uncaring about this matter." In a statement to 9 News, the Presbyterian Church of Australia would neither support or condemn the minister's actions, saying wedding requests were discretionary matters for ministers of congregations, a sentiment echoed by the Prime Minister.
Churches are entitled to marry or not marry whom they please. That is part of religious freedom.
While politicians have weighed into the debate, the minister at the centre of this furor has gone to ground. There was no sign of him here at the church today, and he wasn't answering any calls, leaving some parishioners unimpressed.
I'm just upset it's happened.
We've got nothing to do with him. Yeah.
Is it a bit disappointing?
I haven't gone into it deep enough, but yeah.
As for the couple, the wedding will go ahead at an alternative secular venue. Justine Conway, 9 News.
The Prime Minister has refused to criticise a pastor's refusal to marry a Ballarat couple because of their support for same-sex marriage. Malcolm Turnbull says churches are entitled to make their own decisions on the divisive issue.
Springing another surprise in the Senate, his media reforms passing on a significant day.
I'm delighted it's happened at the 2-year anniversary of my Prime Ministership.
Tony Abbott marking the occasion differently, an interview declaring he would have won the last election comfortably, as the man who did win it moves on to the next challenge.
Churches are entitled to marry or not marry whom they please.
Declining to criticise a Presbyterian pastor's refusal to marry a young heterosexual couple in Ballarat because of their Facebook post supporting same-sex marriage.
There is a very broad consensus in this building to support the protection of religious freedoms.
Evident in Bill Shorten's response.
And Labor will not support legislation which impinges upon religious freedom in this country.
As tennis great Margaret Court is dumped as patron of her local tennis club, she says because of her strong views against same-sex marriage.
You stand for righteousness and justice and truth, and you get criticised for it, and I think that's very sad for our nation.
And former Prime Minister John Howard's brought back in, claiming the government has failed to provide sufficient protections for religious groups before proceeding with the postal survey.
There's another split in the Liberal Party. John Howard's come out and criticised Turnbull.
John's wisdom is always welcome, particularly on our side of politics.
Insisting that as strongly as he believes in same-sex marriage,
even more strongly, if you like, do I believe in religious freedom.
Promising firm protections will be enforced if Australia says yes. Mark Riley, 7 News.